Many people with DID struggle to make and enforce boundaries, and this makes sense. Most people with DID experienced repeated boundary violations, where their wishes weren't honored and their no's didn't matter. There's also a common belief that a boundary only counts if the other person agrees to it. But families who ignore boundaries aren't likely to suddenly respect them just because you explain yourself. What if boundaries don't depend on their agreement at all? Boundaries are decisions about your behavior, not theirs. When you set a boundary, you are deciding how you will respond if something happens. You're not controlling the other person. You're choosing your exposure and your reaction. And here's the important part. You don't always have to announce your boundary. You can choose how you'll respond without explaining, defending, or justifying it. You're simply deciding what you'll do. Let's look at two kinds of unilateral boundaries you can set. The first is the time-limited contact. Examples are, I'll only be staying for 45 minutes. I'll do one visit per month and not more. Or, I'm only available on the weekends. With this type of boundary, you aren't controlling the relationship. You're controlling your exposure to experiences. The second kind is exit plans instead of confrontations. Instead of getting into yet another confrontation with a family member who seems to enjoy them, you make a plan ahead of time. Decide what signal tells you it's time to leave. Decide how you'll leave. Here's what that might look like. Leaving when voices begin to rise. Leaving after the first insult. Ending the call when the gaslighting starts. These turn repeated confrontations into protective action. For dissociative systems especially, unilateral boundaries can be stabilizing. They reduce internal conflict, lower overwhelm, and prevent one part from having to carry the entire burden of confrontation. If you'd like a deeper explanation of why this works particularly well in DID, I've written more about it on my website. I'll link it below.